pretty much know what's going to happen throughout this film.
On this month's film reviews, we got Snow White and the Huntsman, which was released on the 30th of May. And we're lucky to have Johnny Harris, who stars in the film, and he's going to tell us a little bit about it. Give us a little rundown on your character.
Yeah, I play Quirt, who's he's one of the 8 dwarves. We've got 8 dwarves in this film, and they're a tight little bunch. They live, they dwell in the forest, and they cross Snow White's path. Snow White and the Huntsman, who's Kristen Stewart and Chris Hemsworth. They're on the run basically from this queen, and she comes into contact with these 8 dwarves. I can't say too much because I don't want to ruin any stories, but they're a great bunch, and it's played by a great bunch of actors: Ray Winston, Bob Hoskins, Ian McShane, Eddie Marzan, Nick Frost, Toby Jones, Brian Gleeson and myself. We play the 8 dwarves. And it's great, really. Quirt, he's one of the younger of the gang, and a few of the gang they're all quite grisly. They're a tough little bunch, these dwarves. They're not sort of the Disney version. They're they're a tough bunch, and they have to fight to live and survive, and they rob what they need to rob to exist, and they've had their souls sort of taken away, really. They've turned dark. They were once a great noble people, and they were miners, and they were miners for a reason. They used to have a great knack of finding beauty in things, and so they'd be sent down into the pit where they would find the gold that no one else could see, and that's stripped away from them, and then they come across Snow White, and their faith, that little tiny flicker of faith, is reignited, and she discovers something about herself through them, and they discover something about themselves through her.
You were obviously with all these British actors that are incredible, but what about the American actresses, Kirsten Stewart and Charlize Theron? That must have been overwhelming to be with those biggest names in Hollywood at the moment.
Yeah. Kristen was, I think she set her stall out on the very first day of rehearsal. We went into rehearsal, and she had these 8 guys around her, these 8 sort of Cockney, huge characters, all of them. Those guys aren't sort of where they are for no reason. They're big characters and really great personalities and strong personalities. And this young girl come in, I think people forget her age. She's 21, 22 years old, I think. And 22, I think, but really mature, and she came in, and with all the charm and humility, very, very humble person, Kristen. Rolled her sleeves up and just got stuck in from day one, and made it quite clear that she was there to graft, and that she's not a movie star. I mean, she is a movie star, but first and foremost, she's an actress. And her performance in the film, which I think is terrific, I really do. I think it's a really tall order, that to come in and retell that story in a very different way, and pull it off, is not easy, and I know it's not easy because I watched her do it, and I know how much work she put into it. I know how much she cared about it, and in short, I saw her graft. I know how much work she put into it. So really, on one level, it's great, and it was amazing, and yet really, it felt like I was just working with any other actress.
Great.
And I mean that in the highest...
That makes it easier, doesn't it?
It's the highest compliment I can pay her.
Wow, yeah.
You would never have believed you was in the room with probably the world's #1 movie star. You was just in there with a young actress who really cared about her craft,
Great. So how do you feel about the film?
I love it. I think it's fantastic. I missed all the premiere. I was filming over in Jordan, so I missed the premiere, and so I only saw it last week. And I sneaked into Tottenham Court Road with my fiance. We went and watched it, and it was great. It was packed. And there was old in there, and there was young in there, and in between, and all laughing and joking, and those lovely silences you get in cinema sometimes, and so it was great, really. It was lovely to go in like that and sort of sit with a paying audience and just really watch their reactions, and I got swept up in it. I really did. I laughed during it, and I cried during it, and there's some beautiful stuff. I think Rupert Sanders is really something, to create things like the Enchanted Forest and the Dark Forest and things like that, and to make them so believable, even with CGI and stuff. I watch a lot of CGI films and I don't buy into them. I don't know what it is, but it's not like when I watch an old Spartacus or something, or a Ben-Hur, and you see those chariot races and it's the real thing on camera, and so sometimes CGI doesn't always do it for me, whereas whatever it is that Rupert's done with this, I really believed in it. I really believed in it, and I was swept along with it, and that's what it's about, I think.
It's a great start for him as a director.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some of you, I don't know if you've seen any of his commercials, and they're astonishing. They are astonishing. And when we first got the part, we went in and all of us went and met Rupert before we even started rehearsals. Tells you a lot about the man. He got us in just to have a chat, and a nice chat, and show us his visuals, which when juxtaposed with the film, they're quite crude. Obviously he never had a multi-million-pound budget to make. It was basically a test piece that he made to show the producers that got him the job. And it was really amazing. Even that was like, wow, you've got great ideas, and so you could sort of see it and imagine it before you even started work. He's a really clever guy, really clever guy.
Cool, that was Johnny Harris, who stars in the film, obviously. That's why he was